This is Mike Winkleman, otherwise known as Beeple. He's a digital artist who's becoming well known in the NFT space. He's just sold his most recent piece, Every Day's The First 5,000 Days, for $69 million at Christie's auctions. And this puts him in the top 3 most valuable living artists on the planet, which is absolutely crazy considering as recently as October last year, he had never sold a print of his own work for more than $100. So Every Day's The First 5,000 Days is an NFT. So there's been a lot of talk online recently from people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Logan Paul, Andrei Jikh about NFTs. What even is an NFT? What's happening, folks? My name is Robbie and today I am going to try and enlighten you on a peculiar world of NFTs, or Non Fungible Tokens. But before we begin, you know the drill. We are not going any further until you like this video and hit the subscribe button for more action-packed business content. We are currently sitting at 154 subscribers, so we seriously need to up the game if we want to hit 250 subscribers by the end of the month. Okay, now we have the formalities out the way, let's get into it. What the is an NFT? An NFT, or non-fungible token, is a digital asset that represents a wide range of unique, tangible and intangible items, from collectible sports cards to virtual real estate and even digital sneakers. There's a huge amount of assets that are called alternative investments, and these aren't your typical stocks and shares and bonds. A few of my favourite are property, whiskey, watches and cryptocurrency. But there are so many more. There's wine, sports memorabilia, Pokemon cards, sneakers, baseball cards and hundreds of other assets that you can put your money into. NFTs are just the newest on the scene. So just like any other collectible, like a watch, whiskey or any of the other things listed, what makes a collectible item collectible? Most commonly, scarcity and exclusivity and how hard it is to get a hold of those items. Let's look at art, for example. Let's take the Mona Lisa, painted by Leonardo da Vinci, arguably one of the most famous paintings on the planet, and this is listed as a Guinness World Record for having the highest insurance value for a painting. It was assessed for $100 million in 1962, so adjusting for inflation, it would now be valued at $850 million. So why is that? Leonardo da Vinci is one of the most famous artists in history, and the Mona Lisa is regarded as one of his best works, if not his very best. Pair that with the fact that there's only one Mona Lisa, he didn't paint 10, he painted one, and you get a valuation of nearly $1 billion. So the same concept is happening with NFTs. Here's an example of a similar scenario, but in NFT form. Jack Dorsey, for example, the founder of Twitter, at the beginning of March, he tweeted a link to an auction where you could buy his first ever tweet, meaning it's the first ever tweet. So looking at the auction and the terms and conditions, it states when you buy a tweet, you're buying a digital certificate of the tweet, which is unique because it's been signed and verified by the creator. The digital certificate will only be issued once and cannot be duplicated and is held on the blockchain. On there you'll get information like when the tweet was posted, the timestamp and the digital signature from the creator's crypto wallet address, so that can't be duplicated. So if you buy Jack Dorsey's first ever tweet, you've essentially got a piece of internet history, sort of in the same format as owning the Mona Lisa and owning a piece of artistic history. There is one stumbling block though. The current bid is $2.5 million. $2.5 million for a tweet. So on a similar vein to the Mona Lisa, this tweet is the first ever tweet by the founder of Twitter. This makes it the most exclusive thing on Twitter. There is no tweet that you can buy that is more exclusive than tweet number 1. And who knows, the person who's currently bidding $2.5 million could win the auction, buy it for $2.5 million and sell it in a few years for $3.5 million as a collector's piece. Maybe you add that to a collection of Jack Dorsey's first tweet, Kevin Systrom's first ever post to Instagram, me at the zoo, the first ever video posted to YouTube, and before you know it you've got a nice little collection of edition 1 of various social medias. Who knows? Maybe it'll happen. Maybe that collection could be worth $10 million. Or the bubble might just pop, and then the person who bought Jack Dorsey's tweet now owns the right to a tweet that's ultimately worth nothing, and they've got a nice big $2.5 million hole in their pocket. So, is the NFT market a bubble? Something is only worth as much as someone is willing to pay for it. And at the beginning of the month, before I really dove deep into this, I would have said yes, this is a bubble. I've seen comparisons to Tulip Mania, where the price of tulip bulbs skyrocketed in Holland in the 1600s, then ultimately plummeted. The dot-com bubble, where investors were seeing crazy returns in internet startups. The Nasdaq increased 400% in 5 years, and then the market came crashing down to reality and a lot of investors were left out of pocket. After researching NFTs for the past week or so, I'm not so sure that it is a bubble. I think prices are definitely hyped up and will have to drop a little bit, but I don't think it's a bubble ready to pop. And I think long term there could be some decent growth. As the NFT market starts to mature and more people start to understand it, for the record, I'm still not sure I fully understand it yet. NFTs may have their uses. For example, I seen a TikTok last night from Gary Vaynerchuk, and he has a great idea on how to turn an NFT into something tangible. Watch this.
I'm going to be launching a project that some of the NFTs that you buy from my project will allow you to go to any keynote that I ever give in my life free, front row, and meet me in the green room. That's a utility, that's access.
So Gary V releases an NFT. You buy that NFT and it's yours, you own it. But what also comes with ownership is free front row access to any keynote speech that Gary gives and access to the green room afterwards to meet Gary. So that's providing real value, which is absolutely worth something to people. If Gary Vee auctions off an NFT that gives you the opportunity to meet him after any keynote that you attend, of course that's valuable and people pay a lot of money for that access. Being able to get a seat at the table with the big hitters in any industry is always going to be worth the money. Another example is Logan Paul, who we're all familiar with. Logan Paul has just released a set of NFTs, and you guessed it, they have a drawing of him on them. He released 3,000 of these in the set, and they were priced at 1 Ethereum each. Obviously, the reason that you would buy this is you would hope that buying one of 3,000 means there's some intrinsic value there, and maybe one day you can sell that on for a profit. Just hold it as an investment long term. That's not all you get with this NFT. You're also entered into a giveaway, and 3 winners are picked. And they win a first edition pack of Pokemon cards from Logan's $1 million Pokemon unboxing. You also win another NFT, which I understand to be one assigned per pack from this unboxing, and he's calling that a first break NFT. A paid flight to wherever Logan's doing the unboxing so you can be there in person and meet Logan, and expedited grading at PSA, so any of the cards that you get in your pack that are worth anything, they'll be graded by PSA a lot quicker, because I understand there's quite a big backlog on Pokemon cards being graded at the minute. So there's massive value added there, and there's an incentive to buy this NFT because it's part of a giveaway as well. At the end of the auction, worst case scenario, you've got your NFT that you've purchased for 1 Ethereum, and hopefully it's worth 1 Ethereum in future. Best case scenario is you've got that NFT plus everything else I just mentioned because you won the giveaway. So this is why I think this NFT thing isn't actually a bubble. As long as people are continuing to find utility with NFTs and ways to add value with them, they could be here to stay. Maybe not at the prices that they're at just now, but who knows, I could be a mile off here. So I'm not going to pretend that I know any more about NFTs because it's confusing. So let's just take a look at the top 5 most expensive NFTs that I've ever sold, and then you can make your own decision on whether you think this is a bubble or whether it's not. Just a little side note, I got the news notification halfway through filming this video for Beeple selling his most recent work for $69 million. So that isn't included in the top 5, but obviously that takes the number 1 spot. It's absolutely ridiculous. So number 5, which is actually number 6 now, Dragon the Crypto Kitty. This is Dragon. So Dragon is a cat on a game called Crypto Kitties, a game where you can breed and collect cats, and all the cats are NFTs held on a blockchain, so they can't be replaced, they can't be duplicated. Dragon sold in 2018 for 600 Ethereum, and that was worth around $170,000 at the time. That same Ethereum would now be worth just over $1 million. And I've seen some speculation on why in 2018 someone would pay that much for a drawing of a cat. There's speculation on money laundering, tax fraud, all sorts of things like that. What we do know is it's one of the most expensive NFTs ever sold, and that's a fact. Number 4, Punk 2890. Punk 2890 is a collectible character on a game called CryptoPunks. It sold for 605 Ethereum in January, and that equated to $762,000 at the time. That same Ethereum would be worth just shy of $1.1 million now. Number 3, land on Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity is a game where you can buy land and it has a limited number of plots in the game. In February, 9 plots of land sold for 888.5 Ethereum, which at the time was $1.5 million. That same 888.5 Ethereum now would be worth $1.6 million. Number 2, Rick and Morty virtual images. These images were drawn by the creator of Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland. There was a collection of 16 pieces of work, and they sold for a total of 1,300 Ethereum, and that's $2.3 million, which sounded absolutely crazy until the $69 million mentioned previously. And number 1, which is now number 2, a digital art collection by, you guessed it, Beeple. So Beeple actually holds number 2 and number 1 spot. So Beeple created a collection of 21 pieces of CGI art, and they were all NFT themed. This collection sold in December for $3.5 million. And like I mentioned before, that is absolutely crazy, because this man had not sold a piece for more than $100 previous to October. So if anyone tells you you're not going to make it in whatever it is that you want to do, just tell them that. This guy went from less than $100 for a piece of art to 69 million less than 6 months later. And the actual number one spot is now the $69 million collection that I've mentioned now 4,000 times this video. So taking these examples into account, I'll let you decide if you think this is a bubble or not. I'm not convinced it's a bubble, but I think I'm just going to sit in the sidelines for a while. I'm not planning on spending any money in this space anytime soon. I wonder if Elon Musk is selling his tweets. Oh, you can buy MySpace Tom's tweet for $12,000. Oh great. Well, I definitely won't be investing in Elon Musk's tweets. The gauntlet has been thrown down. The prophecy will be fulfilled. Model S price changes to $69,420 tonight. That tweet is now selling for $69,420. It's just out of my budget. With that being said, I'm going to call it a day on NFT chat. If you're anything like me, this is probably frying your brain a little bit. There's a lot of good articles and good videos online about this stuff, and this could just be the tip of the iceberg. But I hope that you're at least a little bit more clued up on the NFTs, and if I've helped in any way, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next Friday. Take it easy.